Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Hi, everybody. This is the November HMIS user meeting. Please enter in the chat box the agency that you are with so we know who was here. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So here's our agenda. I'll be going over an update on the Family Coordinated Entry System and the Rapid Rehousing Project Performance Reports. And then Adriana will talk about the LSA. Elizabeth will give an update on the user dashboards. Maya will provide an update on the help desk satisfaction survey. Layla will go over annual assessment forms. And then Casey will talk about new articles and the HMIS training site. Okay, so the Family Coordinated Entry System, that group has decided to move forward with completing manual data entry in HMIS instead of waiting for the data migration to be completed. So right now that group is working on their data entry. And at this point, that data entry includes clients, enrollments, VI SPDATs, and coordinated entry documentation. And all of that should be entered into HMIS by this Thursday, the 8th. Originally, it was scheduled for last Friday, but the group requested an extension to have more time to complete the data entry. So the next step after that portion of the data entry has been completed is that the agencies in HMIS that have the housing opportunities, the rapid rehousing and permanent supportive housing projects, will need to go in and enter the matches or the housing opportunities that they have that households can be matched to. And this will include both their current openings as well as openings for clients that are currently matched so that those records can be updated with the current match. And then the Family Solutions Collaborative is going to have to go in and match those households that are supposed to be matched with their housing opportunity. So we'll send an email with more information and instructions on how to do that. And the coordinated entry training that will accompany that and include really how to go through the entire process will be released within the next couple days. That's been a little bit delayed also because of the Rapid Rehousing Project Performance Reports that I'll talk about in a minute. But I'm going to take a second and see if there are any questions about this. I'm not seeing any questions so far, but feel free to type something in if you think of something. I'm going to move on to the next one. So Rapid Rehousing Project Performance Reports. Hopefully by now you all know that we are discussing these at the Data and Performance Management meetings. And this month in November, we will be talking about the rapid rehousing projects that are in HMIS. So that meeting is on November 8th at 1:30 in the CASA training room at the Village. So if you are an agency with a rapid rehousing project, we highly suggest that you attend so that you can see how your project is performing in comparison to the rest of the projects in the COC. We are hoping to send out those reports today so everyone has a chance to review their data prior to Thursday's meeting. And then after the meeting, we will send each agency their client level data for the performance report so that they have a chance to review and correct their data as necessary, and we'll also include instructions on how to make some corrections, as well as any feedback that the group has on how you can improve your performance for each measure. Checking for any questions on that. I do have one question. What are the dates for the PPR? The dates, it is 10/1/17 to 9/30/18 for the Rapid Rehousing Project Performance Reports. And That's the same for all the measures except for recidivism, which is a 2-year period, so it's 10/1/16 to 9/30/18. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions, but I'll keep checking. For now, I'm going to move on to the next one, which is the LSA. Adriana?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good morning, everybody. 211 will submit the first draft of the LSA to HUD at the end of this month. And in preparation for that first submission, we need to work on reviewing and correcting the data quality problems that we have in our system. So in order to do that, we're going to send another draft of data quality corrections file to you guys with data from 10/1/17 to 9/30/18. So you can identify the errors and make the corrections on HMIS. So basically, the format of that spreadsheet is the same one that we explained last month. You're going to see all your data quality errors highlighted by error type with different colors. And also you are going to see, we're going to send the correction reference guide, which is this table that I showed last month, where you can see what constitute a data quality error for each one of the fields that are going to be sent to you. The deadline for completing those corrections is November 28th by the end of the day, and we are expecting to send them this week, so you guys have approximately 3 weeks to work on the corrections. Is there any questions about that so far?
There is a question, will the issue that we had last time about minor children?
Yeah, that has been corrected. That has been corrected, and thank you for all the people who submitted tickets with that. And also, if you already have worked on those corrections corrections are going to be incorporated, are going to be reviewed in this new draft of corrections.
Let's see. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions. Should I move on?
Okay, no, I just want to reiterate that these corrections are really important to have a very smooth LSA submission process, so we just want to encourage you to work on them. And that will be for me. Thank you.
Okay. All right, user dashboards.
Meeting, we introduced, yes, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Last meeting, we introduced the user dashboards. And this is just an announcement to let everybody know that they are now live. When you log into Clarity for the first time, you should see this page of data visualizations. And it's important to know that this is just going to be the default page for when you first log in. After you start working in Clarity, you'll be working with Clarity, and the pages that you see will be the way that you normally see them. So you go to programs page, you move back and forth between different pages. It's not always going to default to the dashboard. It only defaults to the dashboard when you first log on. So since it will default to the dashboard when you first log on, you'll have to click the search button to go to the client search page. And the client search page was your previous default page. So if you want to go back to the way that it used to look, you click on the client search page. And you can always go back to the dashboard if you want by clicking the dashboard button. And if you weren't here at the last meeting, I want to remind everyone that these dashboards are just data visualizations that provide a general overview of user activity, client demographics, and client outcomes for within the last month, and that's for your agency only. And if your agency chose not to have the dashboards as the first page, you can still request the dashboards at a later time. You could just submit a ticket. So if we can move on to the next slide, I'll show you what this looks like in default. So as you see here, this is what you will see when you first log on. It will show you user data as well as client data if you scroll down for the last month. And I've highlighted the search button. If you click search, it'll go to client search page, which is the page that we used to default to. And then as you work in Clarity, if you want to return to the dashboard page, you just click the dashboard icon at the top of the screen.
Okay, I'm not seeing any questions so far. So I'm going to keep going. If anybody has any questions, feel free to type them in. Okay. Mai? Mai?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so hi everyone. So just another reminder that a link to the certification survey will be sent when a ticket is solved in the help desk. So please take a moment to take the survey after your ticket gets solved. It's very short, with just only 2 questions. First one is how satisfied were you with the support you received, and then if answered dissatisfied or very please provide feedback. And then you can also take this survey as many times as you want. I think last time someone mentioned that you guys were only able to take it once, but that has been fixed. So now you guys should be able to take it more than once. And then also, this survey is also anonymous. So please take a moment to take the survey as it'll be very helpful for us. And then that's it for me.
All right.
All right, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
So we're just going to go over a few updates to the documents page, which you can find if you just Google OC HMIS documents and click on the first results. Can we go to the site?
Sure.
Yeah. Now, if you scroll down to client updates and assessments, so these are some updates to the status update annual assessment forms. And before, we originally had the English and Spanish version of the general, but we've also added the PATH, RI, SSVF, VASH, and HOPA ones. And also the general versions have been updated. So based on whatever you already have, you'll want to check to see what's on there now because it's updated. So depending on the funding your program receives, you want to select from those as you enroll a client or as you enter a status update annual assessment.
And these were, the reason we redid these was because the forms that were on here for the annual assessments followed the flow from AdsysTech. So we published new reports or forms so that they would match the flow and clarity so you could use these instead.
Yes.
All right, I'm not seeing questions about that. So, Casey. Casey?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Can I share my screen, Erin?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the list of new knowledge base articles that we've added this month. The first one is new information on entering CES documentation, and the next 3 are basically covered in the Part 2 training, but we wanted to put those on the knowledge base just in case people were searching for how to complete enrollments or exits on the knowledge base. So that's that. And the next part we wanted to talk about was kind of an overview of how the training site can be used. So even though we were putting articles like these 3 on the knowledge base, we want to encourage people to log back into the training site after training has been completed for help on HMIS functionality. So I am logged into the training site right now with an account that I made with my personal email. So this is what yours will look like. To go to the trainings that you've already completed, you'll go to My Online Courses. And then I just did the Part 1 and Part 2 today. So to review trainings that you've already completed, you can just click on them, and then you can look at the syllabus over here. So this is a list of all of the lessons that are in the training. So if you were just wanting to remember how to, I don't know, add a service item, you could click here on this lesson that you've already completed, and you'll get this detailed guide on adding services. And then at the beginning of the Part 2 training specifically, we have the video of the Train the Trainer webinar, which I think a lot of you were at in March. This is a webinar that Clarity gave that's like an overview of functionality within Clarity. So this is also a great resource, and you can access that here on the training site or on our YouTube page, which also has the recordings of all of our user meeting webinars. So I think that's it for me. Are there any questions, Erin?
Were you going to show about adding the narrative part at the bottom of the lessons?
Oh, that's not done yet.
Okay. So what we're planning on doing, and hopefully we'll have it for the next meeting, is on the training site, we're going to include cues, kind of, so that at the bottom of a lesson,
here's an example of one that's done.
Yeah, so you'll know more what's going on in the process of the training, and hopefully you're following along in the training site, so you know what you've completed and what you should have completed in the lesson if you're following along on the training site. So we'll have more on that at the next meeting. All right. I'm not seeing any questions. And those were the main updates we had today. So we do have some time for Q&A if there are questions about specific things that anyone wants to see in HMIS or doesn't understand. We can do that now if you want to type it in the chat box. Otherwise, we will end early today. Just giving it a minute in case anyone's typing. If you joined the meeting after we started, please be sure to add your agency name to the chat box so we know who all was here. And I'm not seeing any questions coming in. So we will wrap up the webinar early. I hope to see all of you rapid rehousing providers on Thursday at the Data and Performance Management meeting, so we can talk about rapid rehousing performance. We got a question. Where's the meetings for the rapid rehousing project performance? It's here at the Village on 17th in the Casa training room. And as HMIS users, you are all invited to attend, but it would be especially beneficial for rapid rehousing providers. I have another question. Will we be adding the follow-up questions to people entering from institutions where they resided for less than 90 days to ES projects? That is something we'll be discussing at the meeting on Thursday, Connor. His question is regarding the entry from homelessness measure, and so we'll talk about it on Thursday and figure out what the community wants to do, and then from there we'll decide if we want to add them into HMIS to get a more complete picture of where the client was entering from. All right, it looks like the questions have stopped. Thank you all for attending, and we will send out the meeting minutes as well as a link to the webinar, hopefully within the next couple days so that you can have it. And have a good day, everybody.